Hey everybody, welcome back to Breakfast with Bob. My name is Bob Babbitt. We're at Challenge Daytona, the PTO Championship. We are brought to you by Captiva Spine, John Hall Chevrolet, USA Triathlon, Foundation Risk Partners, PTO, the Pro Triathletes Organization. Our next guest just won Ironman Florida, won 8:40.50. Kat Matthews joins us, and she says she's going to win this race overall and drop all those girls. How you doing, Kat?
Hi, Bob. I'm good, thank you. I'm not sure about that statement, but we'll see. I'll do my best.
You'll take that out. Talk a little bit about getting into this silly sport, because you haven't been in this thing that long.
Yeah, no. So I started triathlon sort of properly in 2015. Just rocked up to a couple of small events and thought it was quite fun. So just kept going on to the next event and seeing what I could do. And then it was in 2018 that I entered a middle distance race, and that went quite well. And then 2019 I did one and did pretty well. So I won and then turned professional. And then, 2019 was my first year doing the World Champs at Nice. Yeah.
That all happened so quickly. I mean, when you first got into it, did you know that people made a living at this sport and were professionals or any of that stuff?
I had no idea.
None.
And I had no interest in doing middle distance or long distance. I was just thought that the sprint and the standard was quite good fun, a really good
Do it with my friends, have a good time,
exactly.
Go out for coffee, this is good.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't that keen, but it was still fun. I'd just sort of rock up to up to an event on a little road bike and and then I guess I started to see how cool the middle distance and the long distance was, and realized that there were, just these incredible athletes out there making a living out of it. And I just thought that them being the best athlete that they can, it was really inspiring. So I just sort of followed that pathway.
What was there one race where all of a sudden the light bulb went on where, wait a second, that woman behind me is a professional and I'm an amateur and she's getting paid?
Yeah.
That was it?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a good event, 2019 in Gran Canaria. So I raced as an age grouper.
Yes.
And I came second on time out of everybody. So I got beat very obviously by.
So you beat a lot of pros?
Yes.
So good. What were you doing before this? I mean, you were on a path for a career, doing something else? What?
So at the moment, I'm still currently serving in the British Army as a physiotherapist. They're giving me the time at the moment to train full time to be an athlete, which is incredible.
Yeah.
But before triathlon, my career pathway was very much sort of rehab in soldiers in the military.
That's a pretty cool, but you're able to, at this point, they're allowing you to do this. They're saying, oh, go to Challenge Daytona and go try to win $100,000. That's okay.
It's less about the professional side of the sport. It's more about the elite side. So we're looking at national governing body. I won the European elite middle distance last year, and obviously I'd love to win the long distance at the elite level. The ITU level as well. So I think getting on a world podium is, a success in anyone's eyes, and the British Army is just really good at supporting everyone to be their best, and therefore you're then the best person for that team as well, so for the whole army as a whole.
So, and you did the PTO funded event, was it the Outlaw Tri?
Yeah.
And how'd that go?
That was so much fun, actually. I think it's amazing, the PTO supporting these local events.
Yes.
Because lots of people were shutting down, they weren't able to put the restrictions in place. And I think having the backing of the PTO meant that these smaller events like Outlaw in the UK were able just to sort of crack on and go for it, and also draw in such a good professional crowd. Yeah, I absolutely loved it.
And being here, this is like we talked about, this is... they got $1.15 million. They've got all the greatest athletes on the planet are coming here. You're racing on the Daytona Speedway, which is
so
right
cool.
behind us.
Yeah.
Pretty cool experience. And do you like the fact that distance is a little different? So close to a 50-mile bike ride, a little over 11-mile run, and 1.2 swim. You got the ITU athletes, the middle distance guys, Ironman champions. Nice mixture?
Yeah, I think so. I think the 100K is really quite unique, and I love the fact that, it's potentially going to be, something on the scene in the future. I don't think I think last year I would have thought I'd have had no chance, but I've been really working on my swim in the lockdown period. I've done everything I can to sort of put myself in that best position. So I'm hoping that I can compete with some of those slightly faster swimmers this year, because I do think that this race, the ITU girls, will have slightly more of that sort of bias at the start of the race, but I'm pretty confident to say that the middle distance ladies will come straight through on the bike and show their unbreakable strength coming on the run. Yeah.
Well, because it's 20-meter draft rule, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
That's the other thing. So the ITU women can't come out of the water as a pack and work together and try to get some gaps on some of the people who might be just a little bit behind coming out of the water.
I mean, even with 20 metres, you've still got a slight tactical advantage, obviously, with a slight draft.
Yes.
So I think that we'll still see some sort of pack lines forming, just like in Kona. Yeah. But I think overall it will definitely show the fastest athlete on the day. So
I ran into some guy in a bar last night and was chatting with him, and he was telling me that, hey, Kat doesn't do a lot of run training. She run training is pretty. She does good intensity. But you'd be surprised at the type of run training she was leading into her 8:40:50 at Florida, which was the third. Giving all my secrets away. Giving a secret. So do you keep your run training keeping it a little low?
Yeah, I mean, I actually have come from a sort of cross-country running, I guess, background as a kid, maybe. Yeah. And then I didn't do a lot of running much as a teen in my 20s. And so now, I run maybe 2 or 3 times a week, with one of those being an easy run and one of those being a really hard run. Really hard run, yeah. And then that third run is often just another really easy run as well. So I have had some niggles over the last few years, I think, coming into the sport and potentially going straight in at that sort of professional level. Yep. I think I was really careful not to up my volume too much, and I'm hoping as I progress in the sport that I'm able to up my volume and therefore sort of resilience and just keep and build on the speed I've got at the moment. So last year you were also at 70.3 Worlds in Nice, which was such a cool course. Cool. Yeah. Such a cool course. 16th, but that race, with the fact that you're swimming right there, Nice, and you're climbing and the downhills, and you like that? I love the race venue. Yes. I don't think the course suited me specifically in terms of my bike strength. Right. But it didn't matter to me. It was my first World Championships. I was just happy to be there, to be honest. Yes. So for you, since you're still representing British Army, how important is it just the growth of the sport of triathlon and the investment you see PTO making in the sport? I mean, I think it's so important. Obviously, everyone can see how important it is for the sport. I think the idea that we can inspire the younger population to look at triathlon as a genuine something that they want to get into, and they can see a clear pathway of how they can come in as an athlete. I think that's amazing for me. Showing people that there is opportunity in the sport, rather than it being a bit of a niche, which perhaps it was in the past, whereas now it's very much in the public eye, and professionalizing at that top level. Yeah, I think it's really important. Well, and I think you have to finish top 4 here to make the European team for Collins Cup. Is that right? Something like that, yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, that's a tough call. It's definitely something. But that's a goal. Yeah, I mean, obviously I have been lucky enough in terms of the persistence I've had this year to get onto the start line. So yes. I have raced Ironman Florida, I have raced 70.3 Tallinn. I'm really hoping that the sort of PTO can generate a fair way to put those results into the rankings, and therefore that Collins Cup maybe bringing me slightly closer to the top of that ranking. But who knows? I'm definitely eyeing that up. It's the next thing to go for. And so now that you've won Ironman Florida, does that mean that 2021 we'll see you in the starting line in Kona? Oh yeah. I'm already looking at accommodation. I'm not joking. And you've seen a lot of people go there. Laura, who was John right before us, her first time there, she got 4th. I think Annie Hogg was 3rd her first time out, and then she won the next time. So that's amazing. If you're going to go, you might as well be on a podium. Yeah. And if you're going to be on a podium, you might as well not be looking up at anybody. For sure. Right? You seem like you have that type of confidence. If you're going to go to a race, why not win it? I'm not naive. I know that Kona has its own challenges. Yes. I was out there supporting my husband last year, and I can just see what an incredible race in such tough conditions that can be. So I think even if you are, the best that you can be on the day, there's still so much that can happen, which gives that race such a hype and excitement, because it's really, a unique race. So
Yes.
I'd love to do my best there, but I'm not going to set some crazy expectations.
So how is your husband handling being the second best triathlete in the house?
Well, actually, he's the best triathlete
What?
in the house. I know. About a month ago, he beat me in a sprint race
What?
by 4 seconds.
Oh.
I know. And it was a time trial format, so we had no idea where each other were. We were a minute apart, but we couldn't see each other. I know, 4 seconds.
That is unbelievable. So did you have any idea how fast you were going at Florida?
When I got onto the run, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think with the swim, it felt like a bit of a long swim, but you never quite know where you are in T1.
Yeah.
And the bike itself for me didn't actually go very well. I didn't have a great day on the bike. Mentally, even though sort of performance-wise it was still okay. Getting on the run, I knew with that last sort of 20k and then into the last 10k that I was on for the time I wanted. Yeah.
Yeah, and sub 3-hour marathon.
Yeah.
First time out.
Yeah. Second time out.
Second time out.
Yeah. So I did Western Australia in
That's
2019.
right. Yeah. But
Yeah.
second time out, sub 3 hours. Is that your first sub 3?
Yeah, for sure.
There you go.
Won't be
Which
the last.
means for sure you can go sub 250.
That's the next target.
I like it. But I think the key for longevity is keeping that mileage low in the run. I think so many people get into a sport and just fry themselves because that's where you beat yourself up. I like the fact that you're keeping running low.
Yeah, it's definitely the most fatiguing, obviously, and I think it allows a good adaptation. Like I'm really into the sports science of training, and I really put a lot of effort into the study of it, as well as putting that into practice. So I'm not one to sort of just overthrow the body with loads and loads of volume. Like I barely did. I mean, it'll be embarrassed. People will be, again, surprised by the volume I did leading up to Florida. I don't think I went over 20 hours in that month before it. So I think it's just about getting the balance right, getting the training stress right, and not straining the body too much that you're just you're not recovering from it. So I think that's where the running volume is key for me.
Yes.
But I know for a lot of people, they have to have the running volume. So it's different for everyone.
In terms of your military obligations, how much longer will you be in the military?
I'm currently serving and supported for them for the next. It's on a rolling contract, so with the sport side of things.
Yes.
But they're very much a career-driven organisation. So
also, you could be there forever and ever and ever. Love it. Hey, Kat, thank you so much for taking time. A pleasure to get to meet you.
Thanks for having me.
I can't wait to see how you turn out this weekend. It's going to be really a fun race. Have you been in a race with this depth of field before?
It's unique with the ITU element, definitely. Obviously, Nice was massive.
Yes.
And I'm looking forward to Kona next year, but I think this is just something else.
Totally
it's something
different.
completely different. It's amazing. Thanks for your time, Bob.
Kat Matthews has been our guest, everybody. Hold on. We will be right back.